How we doing today, guys? It's Jesse with the Common Man Corpus Christi, your CBD guy. We are back here. We are here today with Shawn Flanagan. He's got a group of him and some of others that are running for the Mar Regents board. So Shawn's going to tell you a little bit about himself and why you should vote for him.
Jesse, pleasure to be here today, and thanks for having me. My name is Shawn Flanagan, and I am running for an at-large slot on the Del Mar College Board of Regents. There are three of us running together on a reform ticket. I'm running at large. Dr. Lori Turner's running from the Flower Bluff District, District 4, and John Wilson's also running at large. Now, we're running on a reform ticket because there's certain things at Del Mar. Even though Del Mar College, you've got great kids, great teachers, there's a lot of things that could be done a lot better than is currently being done. But before we get into that, let me explain a little bit about why it's important that you vote for the Del Mar College Board of Regents. On the November 3rd election, we're the very last election on the ballot, so you got to go all the way through a whole lot of other races before you get to ours, but ours is very important. First off, Del Mar College is that rare institution where an institution of higher learning, a junior college, is actually controlled by the local community. Corpus Christi, we the people of Corpus Christi, we operate and control Del Mar College by voting in a 9-member board of regents. There's 5 elected from the districts, which correspond basically to the city council districts, and 4 at large. 3 members are elected every 2 years, and we serve a 6-year term, and that's what we 3 reformers are trying to get into. And it's important to understand that we run Del Mar College, we the people of Corpus Christi, because we're paying for it. 54% of the budget comes directly out of our property taxes, and even if you're renting, you are still paying those property taxes because that has a direct effect on how large your rent is. Also, 80% or more of the children or the students going to Del Mar College are coming out of the Corpus Christi area, and 24% of the budget for Del Mar comes from tuition and fees payments, which we ourselves or our children are making. So this is why we feel very strongly about it. Now, personally, I've lived in Corpus Christi for 20 years. I'm originally from Wisconsin. That's how I got this accent. Come from a dairy farming family. My dad actually didn't inherit or marry the farm, so he ended up teaching ag education at a local college. I went to college there, got my degree in education, went through on an ROTC scholarship, got stationed in San Antonio, Texas. Loved it down here in Texas. I'm also a runner. Heck, you can go running without your sweats on year-round. No snow, no ice, or at least very little of it compared to Wisconsin. And so I did my 4 years in the U.S. Army at Fort Sam Houston. When I got out, I taught school for 2 years at Dwight Middle School in South San School District. At the same time, I was coaching part-time at UTSA, which has just started a track and cross-country program. Got on full-time there, and I coached 16 years at UTSA, 12 of them as a head coach. And then I went up to see the big time, up at UT, and I spent 3 years coaching at UT as the assistant track and cross-country coach on the men's side at University of Texas at Austin. But decided that I really was enjoying what I was doing at UTSA more than what I was doing at UT. So when the opportunity came, when they were just starting the track and cross-country program at A&M Corpus, I jumped on it, applied for the job, and was hired here in January of 2000. I retired in June of 2000 after 37 years of coaching Division I college track and field. At that time, I got interested in Del Mar because I was curious why our local college here didn't have athletics. At one time, I know it had athletics and had a very high level of athletics, but we didn't have it. So I started looking into Del Mar. And the thing that basically got me interested and also kind of appalled me is that at a basic level, the leadership at Del Mar College is failing the students, the kids, the community of Corpus Christi, and not saying that the people that are on the board, the incumbents, they aren't bad people, but I just don't think, and it's been shown over time, they are not providing the leadership that we need to make our college an above-average college. And there's 2 particular ways that I think in this document, it's empirical evidence that we are falling short at Del Mar College. We're not providing the services we need to the kids. And the first area, and the one that stood out to me the most, is if you go back over a decade and you make a comparison between the critical academic criteria that you look at when you're evaluating a college your graduation rate, and for a two-year school, your transfer out rate, and your number of years to completion of degree. For the last 10 years, our college, Del Mar College, has been below average when compared to the other 50 junior colleges in the state of Texas. So we're not comparing Del Mar to Harvard. We're not even comparing it to A&M Corpus. We are comparing it to the other junior colleges in the state of Texas. And for the entire duration of the folks that are running against us, the incumbents on the board, we have been having academic performance that's below average. In 2019, the most recent stats were 27% below average of the other JCs in Texas on graduation rate. We're 51% below average on transfer out rate. Our kids are taking 1.1 years longer to graduate from Del Mar College than they are to graduate from other, equivalent JCs. Now, the current board, and I've heard some of them talk on the radio and stuff, have got all kinds of different stats they bring up to say, well, this, that, and the other thing. Well, the bottom line is they're like a football coach that's lost the game, but he's trying to explain, well, we had the ball longer than they did. We gained more yards. It doesn't really matter. It's not that we don't have some successes. It's that our success rate is not as high as we need it to be. To me, it's unacceptable that you are not taking care of the kids. We need to take care of the kids better than the current board is doing. And the deal is, it's not necessary that this happens. I coached college track 37 years. 31 times I got a Coach of the Year award. I was successful because I took care of the kids in that program. Now, let me tell you, every single year, those 37 years, my kids, my teams had higher graduation rates, higher academic outcomes than the general student population. And they did it because we provided them tools and resources that the general student population did not have. And, the 17 years I was at A&M Corpus, this is definitely true. If you elect this reform ticket, which is Flanagan, Turner, and Wilson for the win, I kind of like that, Flanagan, Turner, Wilson for the win. What we are going to do is we are going to take those same resources, those same, the tools that we provided the student athletes at A&M Corpus or at other colleges. We are going to treat the general student, we're going to provide them the same academic tools that the athletes have elsewhere. So each kid coming into Del Mar College, we're going to treat them like you treat the athletes at other places to make sure they succeed academically. Because the bottom line is, if for a decade we have been below average on all the key academic indicators, graduation rate, transfer out rate, times towards degree, we have been failing or not living up to the standard that we ought to have here at Del Mar College. In other words, I coached 37 years. We didn't win every year, but we won most years. And the deal is, that's if you do not hold the Board of Regents accountable for the academic outcomes that are coming out of our college that we are paying large amounts of money for, then we're failing. And this is what we offer. None of us are professional politicians in our reform ticket. We're doing this because this is a job that needs to be done. In other words, we're doing it because, I care about our kids. I love living in Corpus Christi. My family and I have lived here 20 years now. As have, I'm the person who's lived here the least out of the three members on the reform ticket of Lori Turner and John Wilson. And the bottom line is academically, if you are graduating a below average rate, if you're transferring out a below average rate year after year after year, God bless you, you're just not getting the job done. We need to get somebody who knows how to do it. And for 37 years, I know how to do it. And we know how to do it. And we will spend the resources to put in place what needs to be done. We're not against spending money on education, but we're against wasting money. And unfortunately, this is the other big problem that has occurred at Del Mar College. The board has directed monies to be spent on projects that we really don't need. Our enrollment at Del Mar College has been essentially flat or slightly declining for the last 10 years. Yet we embarked on a massive building project. A lot of people don't realize the new South Campus, which Phase 1 is going into effect, they're not closing the East or West campuses. And here's the deal. On East and West campuses, Del Mar College's own stats show we are only using those campus buildings with a 40% utilization. In other words, hey, I come from a farm background. You don't build a new barn until you need it. We've built buildings we don't need. Now, I'm not sure, maybe, build it, they might come. I don't think that's an effective way of utilizing your resources. And here's the tragedy of it. You've got to understand, if you're going to be a board member, you have to understand the idea of opportunity outcomes. In other words, economic opportunity cost. If you spend $1 on this, you don't have $1 to spend on something else. We are going to change the priorities. We are going to cut back on all this building. We're taking a pause because this South Campus, they're just doing Phase 1. They got 3 more phases in line. There's a bunch of other projects that are very nice. Gee, it'd be lovely if we could do it, but if the kids aren't graduating, nothing really matters. So if you implement our reforms, our graduation rates will soar. When our graduation rates soar, our enrollment will soar. People want to come to a winning school. They don't want to come to a below average school. And God bless it, our academic outcomes have been below average. We don't advertise that much. I don't really like to talk about it much, but we, the people of Corpus Christi who are paying for Del Mar College, we need to get a board of regents that are taking care of our kids. And the basic academic outcome, if it's below average for this long, our kids are not being well taken care of. And that's what the Flanagan, Turner, Wilson ticket for the win. Flanagan, Turner, Wilson. You can vote for all 3 of us in Flower Bluff. If you're not in Flower Bluff District, you can vote for 2 of us. That's what we have to offer. We want to take our college to get the spending priorities in check, spend the money where it counts, spend it on the kids to improve our academic outcomes. And when you do that, then we're going to get the increase in enrollment, which then we might actually need that South Campus sometime. But you can't put the cart in front of the horse. You got to take care of the horse. In other words, for 37 years, I had a winning record in college track and field, and it's real simple. You take care of the kids. You provide them services, you hold them accountable. And that formula will work at Del Mar College. And I know it because it works in all areas of life. If you treat the people you work with respect, we got to remember who the customer is. The customer is the student, the customer, and our direct line there is the teacher. You take care of the teachers, you take care of the students, good things are going to happen. And that's where you spend your money. You don't spend your money on buildings we don't need at this time. You spend your money taking care of that so we get above average academic outcomes. If you elect us, we will go from being on the bottom half to being on the top half and become hopefully an elite elite college before this rascal is done with. And that's our goal. In other words, Corpus Christi is not a second best. It's not a below average place. I love living here. This is a great place. This is the best place in Texas to live. And there's no reason why we shouldn't have the best college in Texas. And Del Mar College is our college. And consequently, with the right leadership, with Flanagan, Turner, Wilson in there, we are going to be above average and we are going to become the best college in the state of Texas. Thank you, and I hope we can count on your vote. Flanagan, Turner, Wilson for the win.
Thanks, Shawn.